this is Goldie with Low Vision Chef. Today I want to do a cantaloupe. We're going to take care of cleaning a cantaloupe, and I'm hoping that this is going to work for the low vision and the blind. So we're going to start off with washing your cantaloupe. Today with the chemicals and in supermarkets with everybody, you want to make sure that you have your vegetables and fruit clean before you start working with them. This way you won't get your cutting board dirty and contaminated. So I have cold water running, and it's not really a bad idea to go ahead and, don't rub it into the fruit, but just a little bit of soap never hurts. You can rub it onto the outside, then use a vegetable brush. I have the palm peeler, and I'm just going to lightly take some cold water and a little bit of soap and lightly brush the outside of the cantaloupe just to get the dirt and the germs off the outside of it. May seem a little bit silly, but I'll tell you what, better that than eating germs and things that people have touched. And again, this will transfer onto your cutting board. If you put a dirty cantaloupe onto your cutting board, you might as well not wash your cutting board. So, now I have that. I've rubbed all the dirt off of it. And I'm going to take my hand and rub and make sure now I get any soap residue off of that as I go. Okay, so I'm just rubbing over with my hands the outside of the cantaloupe. I haven't done anything to it, but just take a little bit of soap and rinse it off, and now I rinsed it with clear water to make sure I got the soap off of it. Now then I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to towel dry that, and then we're going to go over here to the cutting board where we can take it, and I'm going to take a paper towel, and I'm going to head over to the cutting board where we're going to work on this cantaloupe. Okay, so the next step is we're going to use the bridge method. Hopefully you know what the bridge method is. If you don't, basically what we're going to do, after I've got it dried off very nicely here, is I'm going to take, and where the stems are on the ends, okay, are going to be off to the right and to the left, okay? So if you were rolling it, it would roll forward and backwards, okay? So then you're going to take a knife, whatever knife you choose, whether it be a lettuce knife or a regular knife, and you're going to go on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. If you're right-handed, that's going to work. And you're just going to go to the end of the fruit, come up, and take off about probably quarter to a half inch, depending upon how much of the rind you want to take off. Okay? And then go down with your knife, and you're going to take off the end, making the end perfectly flat. Okay? Then I'm going to spin it around, and I'm going to do the same thing to the stem part on the other end. I'm just going to take off about 1/2 inch with my knife, cutting straight down, and I'm going to make the other end completely flat. Now then I'm going to take my cantaloupe, I'm going to turn it up on that flat end so that it won't roll around. So now it's setting up on what used to be the stem, which is now a flat end. Okay, then I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to place it on the top of the cantaloupe. Okay, and then I'm going to take my knife, lettuce knife or otherwise, and I'm going to not come down, I'm going to come up the cantaloupe, up the side of the cantaloupe, so I feel how the cantaloupe arcs, okay? And then I'm going to come in and feel with my fingers about how far that rind comes in, and then come in maybe about 1/4 inch. Okay, then I'm going to start cutting downwards, away from my hand, away from everything, in an arc or a semicircle around, just taking the rind off of that cantaloupe. And if it makes you feel better, go behind yourself, check, and make sure you got it properly. And then you want to continue the same fashion, bringing your knife up, feeling the round of the cantaloupe from the bottom all the way around to the top, coming in about 1/4 inch, and then going back down again. And if you do what I did and just missed, just go back up and start again. You'll feel where it grabs. Okay, and then just go down again and around until you've completely cleaned all of the rind off of as a semicircle around the cantaloupe. Now, as you continue to do this, okay, you may not get the bottom quite so well, but that's okay. You can just turn it over because the bottom has a flat edge also. Feel where you've missed, feel if there are any spots that you missed, and then just kind of go behind yourself with a knife and get them. Okay? Always going downwards, never ever taking a knife towards your body or towards your hand. Always have your hand away from the blade. Never aim the knife towards your blade. Now, I feel some rough stuff on this side, so I'm going to turn it around so it's to my right hand side so I can get a good angle and make a semicircle around. And just continue to do that, feeling and checking until you get it. Now I'm going to flip over and I'm going to get the stuff that I didn't get on the bottom using the exact same technique. Top and arcing around and down. Okay? Just around and around as I turn it with my other hand, keeping my hand that I'm not using the knife with on the total opposite side of the cantaloupe as I use it to spin my cantaloupe around. Okay, now I'm going to do a check. I'm checking. I feel nothing left on my cantaloupe. Okay, so now that I've got everything off my cantaloupe, I'm going to get rid of my cantaloupe rind, shoving it into the scrap trap here. Give it one last check. Feels pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to take it again. I'm going to lay it on its side so the stem portions are facing to the right and to the left. Okay, I'm going to spin it to where the bottom flat part is facing me. I'm going to take the knife, back that up. I'm going to take it and I'm going to use my hand on the top utilizing the bridge method. Okay, arching my thumb and my finger up and taking my knife, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to cut that cantaloupe going between my thumb and my index finger, which is utilizing the bridge method, and I'm just going to go straight down towards the cutting board with my knife. Now, that should take your cantaloupe right in half, and you should have 2 halves at this point. Now then, taking the half, taking a spoon or taking your hand, whichever you prefer, you want to take your spoon or your hand, and in the center of that cantaloupe you'll have the seeds and the ribs. And you want to just take the seeds and the ribs and loosen them with that spoon. Okay, and then you want to have a garbage bowl or a scrap trap or something and loosen them. Just go around the edge with the spoon. Keep continuing to go around the edge till you get the ribs kind of pulled away. Okay, and then dump that into the scrap trap or garbage can. And then again, check, see if there's more seeds. If you didn't get it, give it one more. You want to go too deep where you get into the meat of the cantaloupe, but you do want to get the seeds out so you're not eating seeds. And then again, turn it on its side, kind of like a bowl that you're dumping. Hold it with your thumb of your left hand, using your right hand, taking the spoon and scraping the innards of the cantaloupe, the seeds and the ribs, into your scrap trap or garbage bowl. Okay, and now that I've got that done, I'm going to get this out of the way just in case you can't see. Okay, then I'm going to get all the seeds with my scraper. I see it up there. I couldn't see it for a second there. Okay, I'm going to take my rounded side of my cantaloupe and have it up, flat side down. Anytime you're cutting a fruit or vegetable, you want your flat side down so that it doesn't move, so it's not going anywhere. Then I want to go to the end where I took the stem off of it, coming in with my knife. Then I want to go up however thick I want my slice, about a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch, and then I want to cut down towards the board, and again another slice down towards the board. So you're coming up, going in however thick you want to make your slice, and then taking your knife straight down towards the board, keeping your other hand on the total other end of the cantaloupe, which is at this point about 4 or 5 inches away at least. Okay, so you want to continue to do that method until you get this cantaloupe completely sliced. Okay, and then when you get to the end where you know, because you more or less know where your hand's at, that you're close to your hand, then continue to make an arc towards where you have been. Do not go towards your finger, and put your knuckles forward, not your fingers. Okay? Then you have your cantaloupe sliced. Just pick it up and put it into a container for storage in slices. You got it nicely sliced. Storage for the refrigerator or to eat. Anyway, I hope this was helpful on how to cut a cantaloupe whenever you haven't got any side or you have